It's just crazy to me that a sitting member of the U.S. Congress was detained and harassed and threatened. And a lot of people are going to be okay with that. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Jimmy Dore Show. I am your guest host, Misty Winston. I'm joined here by my pal, Kyle Anzalone of the Libertarian Institute and antiwar.com. Please go check out both of those institutions. They do great work. And Kyle also hosts the Kyle Anzalone Show, which you can find on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcast. So please check that out as well. So I wanted to move on now. This is a very interesting story to me. And just so everybody knows, this is what Kyle's YouTube page looks like. So you can go check that out. And then you can go follow him over on the tweeters at Kyle Anzalone _. So please go check that out. But we're going to move on now to Ro Khanna was recently detained in Israel by settlers and was put in a very precarious position, if you know how any of those such situations have played out before. So he actually posted a video. It's 3 seconds. I didn't even bother with it. It just kind of shows them showing up. But he says, Israeli settlers brandishing American-made M4s detained me and other Americans on my trip to Palestine. When the IDF arrived, they sided with the settlers and continued our detention. They made a huge mistake. You will be hearing more soon. He then continued, what happened to me in the West Bank was an outrage, but it is nothing compared to what Palestinians face every day. It is time to share their stories that American politics have silenced and ignored. This is our first video about Palestinians that we met. I do have that video. We're going to play that now. It's not super long.
For 3 days, I've been talking to Palestinians in their homes and villages about the daily injustices they face under occupation.
And also the blood is here. Do you see the blood?
See that? Oh my gosh.
As a congressman, I never expected to be the target of settler violence. But when we visited a school in Zenuda village that settlers had burned down, we were detained by settlers wielding M4 guns who blocked our van from leaving the site. They called additional settlers for support and held us captive for 75 minutes, recording videos, laughing at us, and mocking me and my staff. I will never forget their faces. What angered me most is that the IDF soldiers who came to the scene supported the violent settlers over American citizens. Here's the question. If the settlers and IDF could do this to an American congressman, imagine what life is like for an ordinary Palestinian under Israel's occupation. I've never felt more powerless in my whole life. For decades, American politicians have made the trek to Tel Aviv while not taking the time to cross over and hear from Palestinians about the actual facts on the ground.
These settlers speak bad words for Palestinians. And
And she was asleep here.
And you are animal, you are must kill the Palestinian animals, you are like animal.
We never forget him, we keep thinking about him. His room his room is still he left it.
Many Palestinians are desperate to be seen, to be heard, and to live with dignity.
And sometimes in the social media say the settlers violence because what happened on 7th of October. No, my uncle Haj Suleiman, father of Eid, killed.
I have met many European Parliament members, but this is the first time that I do it for an American member.
It's really the first time congressman that comes to Beit Sahur.
I'll be posting their stories throughout the next few weeks because it is time that Palestinians have full equal rights in their own state.
There is the boat without food, without water since
All the congressmen should come and see the basic three stuff that we want. We want our land, we want water, and we want the freedom of movement. It's very simple.
Land, water, freedom of movement.
It's simple as that.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Christmas come to Bethlehem. It'll be my honor.
So there you have it. Ro Khanna actually went to Palestine. Crazy, right? What a novel idea, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad a congressman went and not on some guided tour by the Israelis. Obviously, That's how most American congressmen go. Hell, I mean, one congressman that just passed away would talk about how he made a bi-weekly trip to Israel every other week. He was there. He never got this kind of treatment. He never spoke with an actual Palestinian, asked them about what happened to a family member of theirs that was murdered. The amazing thing about this incident, Misty, is how Israel has handled it by essentially trying to call Ro a liar and attacking the U.S. congressman and downplaying the incident, where you would imagine that a state was so reliant on another state. If a group of their citizens had harassed a lawmaker of that state, then you would come down with the sledgehammer law. The IDF would raid their homes and pull them out of their bed. They would be lined up on TV. They would receive 10 to 15-year sentences for this. And look, even if you commuted a little bit later, like at least make a big PR deal. The IDF soldiers that showed up, you give them demotions. You promote them again later, a year down the road or something. But at least in the short term, you take them off duty. Everybody gets reprimanded. And that's the focus of the prime minister's statement. What this tells me, Misty, because Netanyahu is not a stupid man. This isn't a mistake. This is a tactical calculation. Israel understands they are losing their support here in the United States of America. And people who follow Ro and that kind of branch of the Democrats, Israel's already lost those people. And the people who, disbelieve those brands of Democrats are just going to disbelieve and believe the Israeli propaganda on this issue. I think the actual targeted audience here is the Israeli settlers, right? They need these people. The IDF can't kick every Palestinian out of the West Bank. But these settlers who are engaging in daily harassment, sometimes they shoot and kill Palestinians. That's often not the case. They're destroying their homes. They're killing their livestock. They're harassing their children. They're beating them. They're throwing rocks. They're, vandalizing their cars, arson, right? All these things are driving the Palestinians out of the West Bank. And if Israel is losing their support in the United States, they need to accelerate their expansion and control of the West Bank. Everybody likes to date the current situation in Israel to October 7th, 2023, the Hamas attack. I think a much better date is December of 2022. That's when the current Netanyahu government was formed. And when that government was formed, the finance minister, Bezalel Smotrich, who over the past, 4 years since that government was formed, we've seen that he has a lot of power and influence. He made very clear at the time that he only joined the Netanyahu coalition because they were going to move to annex the West Bank. And they've expanded Israeli settlements in the West Bank under this government. And again, this started before October 7th at a record pace. I think the number of settlements approved under Smotrich is like 2 or 3 times the total number approved during the Israeli occupation up until that point. More importantly, they stripped the Palestinians of a lot of their land rights. They've given Bezalel Smotrich or whatever Israeli minister sits in his office the authority to just revoke anybody's property rights. Imagine, Misty, in your town, if they voted somebody, head of the property board, right? If they just remove your property license or whatever appropriate board that is in your town, and now you don't have a deed to your house. They just gave it away to somebody else, and the police come and they evict you and they install this new family, and there's no legal recourse because your deed is gone. That's what they're doing right now every single day in the West Bank. And so I think to me, this is just a symbol that it's really on. The ethnic cleansing in the West Bank for the Israelis is being turned up to full scale. They're really pushing forward with this. They're doing it in Gaza at the same time. Since the ceasefire was agreed to in October, they've expanded their control of the Strip from 50 to 70%. So that's 1.67 million Gazans jammed into just 30% of what was the Gaza Strip, already an overpopulated area with almost no remaining infrastructure, 1 million plus people just living in tents, others living in bombed out homes. I mean, this is an absolute nightmare. But Netanyahu is getting away with it. And maybe he sees that this is the last time that Israel is really going to have the level of influence they do on Capitol Hill, in the White House, in the Pentagon. If a new president gets elected who says, at least I'm going to have a more balanced approach on this issue, or I'm not so interested in supporting Israel and what they're doing in the Middle East, then if the, ethnic cleansing is already kind of de facto the situation on the ground, they've got the Greater Israel Project.
Yeah. I mean, and he just sees it as a win's a win. Doesn't matter how he gets there. A win's a win for him. He's that level of psychopath. I mean, speaking of psychopaths, that guy's a real raging psychopath. But yeah, I mean, I think that this is I think it's, I'm glad that it happened. I mean, obviously I don't want to see anybody detained by Israeli settlers because that's a terrifying prospect. I'm not a fan of Ro Khanna. I think he's shady at best, as all politicians are. I think he is shady at best. But at the very least, I mean, we can't get journalists on the ground. So other than the very unbelievably brave Palestinian journalists who are telling their own stories at great risk to themselves and their families. But the idea that a congressperson is now going to be releasing videos now, how much trust am I going to put in him to tell the story? And I mean, you take everything like this with a grain of salt, right? But I do think that, as you said, it is very interesting the way that Israel and Netanyahu have responded to this, immediately coming out. And this is, as they always do, right? The spin was immediate. Netanyahu was immediately on all the shows talking about how Ro Khanna is a liar. And obviously Ro Khanna is pushing back on that. And there's going to be some back and forth there. But at the very least, I'm happy that Palestinian stories are going to their voices. He's very clearly talking to many locals and telling their stories. And as he says there, or as one of the men says there, that this did not start on October 7th. As you just mentioned, it didn't start on October 7th. This has been going on for decades. I mean, you said, December of 2022. This has been going on for decades, for a very long time. Palestinian people have been dealing with occupation and brutalization and snipers and rape, torture, murder, imprisonment, kidnapping, all of those things for a very long time. This did not happen in a vacuum. This is not a response to October 7th. This has been the plan for a very long time. They merely used October 7th to make it their jumping off point for continuing the Greater Israel Project. I think that's abundantly clear to anybody with two brain cells to rub together. So, I don't know what's going to come of this. He says he's going to continue to tell the Palestinian people stories. I don't know how Israel will respond. Probably once this is, the news cycle will move on, they'll probably ignore it from here on out. So, but I would, at the very least, pay attention to Ro Khanna's continuing telling of these stories on his, wherever he's going to be posting. And I assume on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if he'll be posting anywhere else, but I'm going to be watching them. I'm very curious to see what his experience was like in Palestine. So there you go. It's just crazy to me that a sitting member of the U.S. Congress was detained and harassed and threatened. And a lot of people are going to be okay with that, simply because, as you said, it's Ro Khanna. They already don't like him, so it's fine. If Israel did it, it's fine. I think there's a lot of people who will justify this because of the crazy, misguided support for the state of Israel. So there you have it. Ro Khanna detained. Okay.
Hey, come see me on tour. We'll be in Burbank, California, August 30th with a live celebrity panel show. And then September 18th through the 20th in Chicago, Illinois and Rosemont, Illinois. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.